Assalamu alaikum. This is Learn English with Amina, and today I have brought for you another topic, and that is that really is of your interest. Oh, yes, people out there, do you find English very difficult? Oh, okay. Let me find you a solution. Do you know if you are such a beginner or an advanced learner, what you're gonna do? What are the biggest difficulties in learning English language to you? Do you know what I'm going to tell you? You are going to master these three frustrating factors, and this will make you a good learner of English language. Trust me, you can do it. Do you need a rescue? Well, difficulties in learning English can make you feel lost in a sea. So, without some help, it will be really hard for you to move in the right direction again because seaside has no directions, so you'll be finding a way out to go from there. But overcoming these difficulties may be a lot easier than you think, that you will find the way to the sea. Sure. So don't believe in me? Well, I'll show you three biggest difficulties in English language learning. Now, vocabulary, pronunciation, and conversation skills. I'll tell you these simple tricks to master these kind of difficulties. So let's move on. Do you know you're not alone? Do you know how to overcome English difficulties with other people? Have you ever thought that your classmates and other English learning friends might also be frustrated sometimes? And they find the same difficulties in English learning? Yes, they probably are, but they aren't sometimes sharing with you. They're probably pulling their hair and drinking cups of coffee because of the same stress you're feeling. But what better way to come along these difficulties are that I'm going to share in this video today. Let's talk about how to overcome three major difficulties in English language. So, I'm going to lifesaver. First of all, English difficulty 1 is vocabulary words with multiple meanings. Have you ever seen an English word that you thought you knew but used is in a complete strange way? So English vocabulary is especially difficult because there are so many words that have multiple definitions. So it's easy to understand or sometimes misunderstand their meanings. It's also difficult to memorize many different definitions of each word. Humanly, maybe not possible. So take a word date, for example. So this can word in two different ways as I'm telling you now. One can be a specified day of the month. The second meaning can be a time two people spend with each other romantically. Now, the only possible way to understand which definition is being used to pay attention to context clues. This means using the surrounding words and sentences to find out which definition makes the sense. So, even if you haven't learned all the definitions for a difficult English word, context clues can help you to figure out the right decision and the right definition. Let me give you another trick. What is that? Pay attention to the part of speech. Now, what is that? Part of the speech. Very often, the different definitions for an English word will have different parts of speech. So it's easy to tell them apart. Now, I have one word for you that means two different words, like two different senses. The word is point. Now, point means to gesture towards a place, direction, person, or a thing. Can be used as a verb. Secondly, the sharp end of an object, which is also called a noun. So in the following sentences which I spoke to you, look at the rule of the word point. It's figuring out which definition makes more sense. Can you point to the exit? I can find it. Can you point to the exit? I can't find it. She tapped me with the point of her pencil. So both of them are conveying you different meanings. So pretty ones out there, what is the second difficulty in English language? Do you know? What's that? Let me share. Words that don't sound the way they look. Even native English speakers have trouble with this one. In the English language, large number of words aren't spelled phonetically. That means they sound very different from what you have expected based on their spellings. Now, look at the example I am giving you. I have brought for you the word February. Now, we don't pronounce the R in this word at all. February. You might sound it as February. February. So, now there is another word that is choir. So people call it choir. You might expect to pronounce the CH sound here, like in the word chair. But the word is actually pronounced like choir. R is silent. Choir. So, next word I have brought for you is knife. The K is completely silent. Now can you pronounce it with me? Knife. You can't say knife. The right word is knife. So how can you overcome this difficulty in English language? There are very useful tools for just hearing the correct native pronunciation of English words. I'll tell you one of the dictionaries, which is audio. You can download Forvo. Forvo is basically an audio dictionary you can take help from in any word, and you will get recordings of native English speakers pronouncing the words as you want. Better yet, Forvo will even show you where the speaker is from. You will know if you are getting the right pronunciation in American, British, Australian, or any kind of other English. So this is how you're going to excel beyond. Now, what is the third difficulty people find in English learning? Getting real live speaking practice. If you truly want to gain full experience of speaking in English, you really need to actually talk with the native speakers. That's the only way to practice having real English conversations, but it can really be difficult for a couple of reasons. For starters, if you don't have anyone near, like English-speaking region, you might not know where to find a speaker to practice along. Secondly, English conversation can be scary sometimes. There is a lot of pressure when someone is waiting for you to come up with an English sentence. It will be tough in the beginning, but fear not. There are some ways you can meet and talk with native speakers without feeling lots of pressure, no matter where you currently live. So there are language experts and different language apps which you can be taken help from. So a language exchange app is one of the best options to practice speaking and typing in the English language. You have the comfort of messaging native people without leaving home. You can wear most of your comfortable pajamas, sit in your favorite spot in the park, and use online apps to become a native speaker. So this is how you're going to improve yourself. In fact, as it seems very difficult to you, it really is not. So people out there, let's start from today and relax and don't panic that you cannot be a native speaker. Yes, you can be a native speaker. So language, learning the rules of pronunciation, definitions, and speaking in English may seem like a very difficult thing to do at first. But by listening And opting these kind of tips will give you confidence, and you will be able to solve your troubles which are overcoming your difficulties in learning your English language. I hope that today's video has been really very helpful for you. And in my next video, you're going to be bringing with some other new topic, and you are going to stay tuned. Oh, people, before you go, do subscribe, like, and hit like my channel. This is Learn English with Amina.